Hi, this is Rick Savitsky from Chartech. In this video, I'm going to talk about backlogs. And specifically, I'm going to talk about what I believe is a best practice for manufacturers, which is to trend the value of backlog and watch it over time. I'm going to explain why I think that's important, why you should bother. I'm going to show you technically how to do so and give you some examples, usage examples, using Power BI. So backlog, it's the value of orders that you've taken and entered into your system but hasn't shipped out the door yet to a customer or been invoiced. Almost every business knows the value of their backlog as of today. And whether it's a tile in your ERP system, a dashboard, in this case Power BI value, very, very, very common. However, why am I making the point that you should be trending it and using the iceberg analogy, what might be below the surface of that single number? And specifically what I mean is it going up over time? Is it going up dramatically? In which case we may have issues to deal with, to manage to, about our capacity and the ability to meet deadlines that we've promised. So as backlog goes up, backlog is the future revenue. The question is, when do you need to actually deliver? And might you be creating a issue that needs to be addressed? Conversely, is it going down over time? And that can have other challenges associated with it, depending on how steep that decline is, whether it was planned or known. The main thing here is graphically seeing it is sometimes a lot easier than just seeing the number and knowing the number, but rather how is it trending over time. So there can be a dilemma. What if your ERP system doesn't give you a report or a graph showing value of backlog over time? It's actually a pretty big dilemma. Many systems don't have it, and you can't just go back and see, well, what was the backlog last week, last month, and so on. So that's a problem in many cases. I'm going to show you how you can use Power Automate with Power BI to solve that. And this is going to get a little technical. If you're technically minded and want to see how it's done, you may want to pause it. Otherwise, if you want this but can't get it done, give us a ring. We'd love to help you. And this is in fact what we do with a lot of our other manufacturing customers. So let me show you. Power Automate is a workflow automation tool, and it's typically a set of processes that you tell it to do when some event happens. In this case, we're going to actually have it set on a recurring schedule. So it's not triggered by something happening, but rather every night we're going to do something. And the something is we're going to run a query, take some values out of Power BI, and we're going to just store those in an array of little variables so we can do something with it. And literally, this is very, very simple. We're just taking, in this case, 4 different numbers, not just backlog, but the value of inventory and so on. We're taking the values as of essentially that night, and we're going to assign basically the value from this query into a variable, and then we're going to write it. Now, this could be written to a table in SQL if you're more technical and you have that ability. I'm showing it here very, very basic. We're just going to a file, CSV file, in this case an Excel file, and we're taking those values that we pulled and populating it literally into a row. Date, value, and we do the same thing the next night, and the next night, and the next night. Really, really simple. So this allows us, though, to take that very simple table log file that we wrote to and have Power BI pull it in, which then basically means we have that value every night, and then makes it really easy, of course, to graph. We can also set targets. What do we want the value to be in future months? And our team can kind of work around that. And ideally, we're going to be looking at this information, sharing it, and then again, trying to proactively act on it. So let me just show you. I'll share my screen. Here's Power BI, pretty typical dashboard page, bunch of information, and including a graph, 2 graphs over time, value of inventory and the value of the backlog. So in this case, I'm looking at the current quarter, and on the top of the screen, I'm able to pick additional time periods. So I'm going to go back in time and look at the entire year. Now, as we do that, we start to see some very, very clear dips and valleys. This could be seasonal, quarterly. It looks like there's a clear pattern going on when we look at a year's worth. So not just the one number, but looking at this over time. If I go back and look at 2 years, we're seeing a very clear downward trend, right? Just really obvious here. There's a downward trend. The backlog has been going down. It goes up and down, but it's still trending downwards. And if I go for 3 years, in this fictitious data, we can see there was a real big spike, and then it's been gradually going down over time. So that's just a really simple example how seeing it and being able to pick and choose the time scale can really help users, decision makers, team members understand the data. And again, we want to act on it. So we'd love to hear from you. If this video is helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Please follow me on LinkedIn or YouTube. Feel free to fill out our web request form, and we'd love to talk to you and figure out how we might be able to help you. Otherwise, please share this with someone who you think would benefit. Thanks a lot. Bye.